Alright, I'm going to continue on with this tutorial, but it's going to be with the advanced mode now. But I wanted to point something out real quick, so let me go back to the configure mode, to the simple mode. Okay, alright. As I was saying before, how your applications are on your left and applets on the right, it's actually your launchers. Like in Ubuntu up here, it says applications, and these are your games and sound and video and whatever. In Cairo doc, it's referring to your applications as launchers. So I just want to make that clear. But anyways, where are we at now? Themes, appearance. Let me go over here real quick. I'm gonna set this my subdoc here to something else. I'd rather have it on a slide. That's better. Hit apply. Now, as I was talking about the launchers and applications, so since launchers are your applications, really, right here, your little icons right here. So on the left side is your launchers, and in the middle right here it says applications. And what it's actually meaning, that this is what's running. So if I were to open like Chromium here, see how Chromium opened right here, and if I were to minimize it and see how it's minimized as a little thumbnail. Okay, so I really don't use the applets. So on the far right are your applets, and you can install applets by going to your advanced mode and where are you at? It's basically on the first page, and even though it says applets, it's really referring to like these little things right here, like your internet, your mail, your me menu, your messaging, Wi-Fi. So if I were to click on the clock, let's click on the weather and go down here again. See, it's a little weather applet. So if you want to use that, go right ahead. Okay, and if you want to reconfigure the order, just you're better off going to the simple mode and appearance right here. This is going to determine the order of your launchers, applets, and your applications. So if you want to put your applets over here and your applications over here towards the end, you could just click on this and move it up or down or how have you. So, but since I'm not going to be using my applets, it doesn't really matter to me. So what I'm going to do is just remove my applets. So I'm going to take that off and take off this one, the rhythm box. I'm going to right click and remove this applet. Remove this applet. Okay, now let's go back to the advanced mode and the window switcher. I just use my mouse. Remove this. So okay, now come back here. Now it's real simple looking. Okay, now let's go back to our advanced, and we're going to continue on with the customization side of it. So for visibility, click on this. And this is just like the simple mode. Remember how zoom out, fading, or folding? That's when your mouse hovers over the dock, how it comes back. So we're just gonna leave that as it is. So let's go back to all taskbar right here. Okay, this is how your dock is going to react to multiple programs, and we already took care of this in simple mode. But if you need to get more into it, this is where you go. Like if you want to like modify some certain things, like your pigeon, the way it reacts when it launches, if you want to keep it in the taskbar when it launches, or you want it just to pop out on the desktop, this is where you go. I like to put this at bounce. Hit apply. So let's say you're installing something, right, like the software center, and you minimize the software center as the install process is going. And when it's done, that little icon of the software center will bounce to let you know that it's done. It's more of a notification, so I'd rather have it bounce to get my attention when it's done. And let's see what else is there. This is also another way of you know, letting you know something's going on, so you can choose a different effect if you like. So I'm going to leave it at rotate, the default. And also there's duration of how long it'll notify you as well. Okay, and right here where it says show window and thumbnail, is talking about when it's minimized. So if I were to minimize my thing right here, see how it's a little thumbnail of the actual window, and if I were to change it, maybe draw icon backwards or bent backwards. So let me minimize it again, and see how it's like it's bent backwards a bit. So there's little things like that. So I'm going to leave at default with the thumbnail. I like that one the best because I can actually see what it is. Okay, now let's go back to all again. Background. Background is talking about the dock of where it's sitting on, right here, the slate. So let's click on that, and you can actually add your own images. If you know how to use GIMP, you can make your own little panel images and make it like red or white or gradients or solid black, and that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna, well, anyways, right now I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. I'll do that at the very end. And you also can adjust the transparency, so I can lower it down at 50, and it's a little bit transparent. I'm going to leave it at opaque. Hit apply. I'm going to change it to a color gradient for now, so you can see the difference. And right here, if you don't want to use an image, you can just pick two different colors, like from black to white or blue to red, and it'll stroke a gradient to make this, you know, those colors you picked. So I'm gonna hit apply. Now it should be black. See, it's more of a black tone. Anyways, and now this is referring to the frame around it. See how it has rounded corners? I don't really like rounded corners, so I'm just gonna lower that down a bit and probably put it 1:1. Hit apply. See, now it has a nice like solid edge to it, a flat line. Okay, now let's go back. That's done for the dock. Oops. Okay, now where are we at? Views, we went over in simple mode. Icons. Here you can control the icon size. You can go a step further than before. If you remember back then on the simple mode, it just said you know, small, medium, large, big, you know. So icon size, you can actually go by pixels. So I'm gonna go ahead and up the size quite a bit, say 75, and do it to all of them, because then you'll have mismatched icons. You know, your applets will be bigger than the launchers and stuff like that. So that's why you do all three. Hit apply, and then your icon should be a lot bigger. Okay, now where it says reflective plane, it's talking about the reflection of the icons on the black slate, the panel here. So I like to have it just a little bit light, and the height of the reflection I like to have it a little bit shorter too. It's a little bit too much. I'm gonna hit apply. There you go. Now it's not as like big as before, so that looks pretty good. Okay, and the transparency, that's basically the transparency of the icons themselves. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Okay, and up here where it says space between icons, that's if you want to squish them a little bit more together, and I'm gonna have to do that, so because they're big already, so now they're closer together just by a hair. And this controls the zoom effect and the width. So if you put more of a zoom to it, you're gonna have to upsize the width a little bit so it can look proper. But the default way is alright, but if it bothers you in a way, you just you change it there, right here, the zoom effect. Okay, and the icon order. This is what I was talking about before, about the launchers, the applications, and the applets. So right now I have my launchers on the left and my applets in the middle. And if I were to ever install like an applet, like a weather applet, it'll just be on the immediate right. So I like it like this better. So when I have two applications running, so let me get my home folder here. If I come down here, as you can see, I have two. See, 1, 2, and I can switch between the two. Go here or here. This just makes it a lot easier for me, just to have it like this. So I can just switch between two applications on the far right. So let me close that and leave it at separate all. Now let's go back to all again. Okay, now let's go to the icon effects. Alright, now when hovering over icon, if you want like special little effects, so say like you want to, you know, fire, stars, and rain, hit apply. This is just eye candy. So if you go over here, see how like it does all these weird little effects? That's all it does. It just gives you these funky little weird things. And if you have a slower computer or something with an older video card, it'll probably make things a lot slower for you. So I just recommend not using it. And to me, I don't really like all that, you know, effects. Like, it's too much for me. So I just make sure all of these are unchecked. Okay, yeah, they're all unchecked. And if you want to control each individual, like in Compiz, each individual effect has their own little, you know, sliders to add or take away certain amount of effects to it. So all that can be controlled in here. Now let's go back to all. Okay, icons, we did that already. Icon effects, indicators. Alright, the frame. What the frame it's referring to is this right here. There's a frame going around it. Oh, I forgot to hit apply. Let me hit apply. Huh, it still has the effect. Did I mess up somewhere? Icon effects. Yeah, I did. Sorry about that. I forgot to uncheck it. Hit apply. Alright, let's go back to all. Let's go back to indicators. Alright, as I was saying, the indicators are referring to this little grid right here. See the little box going around it? Let me open my home folder one more time. So it's referring to the window that's active. So right now my home folder is active. I go back here. Now the frame jumps to this, the indicator portion, my configure menu, because that's active. So the box is around that. You can change this. You know, you can add an image of your choice, or you can just modify this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm just make the frame just a little bit fatter, maybe like maybe 10 by 10 or 10 by 8. Doesn't really matter. And you can also change the color as well. So I'm going to make this more of a, you know, more of an attention grabber, I guess. So I can know that it's there. So I'm going to make it blue and up the opacity so I can actually see it. Hit OK. Hit apply. Now you should be able to see it right away. See how big that is? And I'd rather have the indicator behind the icon, so I'm going to click on that. Hit apply. Now let me jump on my home folder real quick. Now see how like the blue line is behind the icon. So that's what I like. So I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, I'm going to get more into this on the next video because I think I'm running out of time. So stay tuned.